I'm Antonio. I'm with the Nocturnal. Nice to meet
Awesome.
you.
Nice to meet you. I'm Hannah.
Hi, Hannah. First, I wanted to say congrats with the film, writer, director. That's amazing.
You.
How did you come up with the concept?
I just love rom-coms so much and felt like I hadn't seen enough about open relationships. It felt like such a ripe subject to make a comedy because of everyone's different perspectives and opinions on the topic.
Right.
So I really honestly just wanted to have a great time and have a great time with my friends who were my collaborators on this movie and hope that the other people feel the same.
Um, you mentioned that it's a romantic comedy. Would you consider it more of a romantic comedy than a romantic tragedy?
Oh, interesting. I guess I think the definition of romantic comedy has expanded so much since the 90s. I mean,
Right.
every show and movie now tackles so many different topics and genres, and there's such a blend. So you're right. It's really its own thing. It is kind of a hybrid of every genre in a way, except for horror, I guess, depending on how you look
Yeah,
at
right.
it.
So yeah, that brings me actually to my next question. You have these really like laugh out moments, like these like laugh out loud moments in between these like gut wrenching like, real life moments. When you were writing this, how were you able to balance, the comedy and the real?
That's a great question, and yeah, thank you for noticing. I honestly just tried to think about what I thought would actually happen. Just tried to put my shoes in both of the characters and think about what are the things that could go wrong, what are the things that could go right, and just let that be my guide. And there's a lot of silliness along the way, and like you said, a lot of heartbreak. But I think that's life, and you kind of just have to go for it.
No, yeah, definitely. Was any of the dialogue based on real life conversations, or was any of the film based on real life scenarios?
The conversations in my head,
Okay.
because I think I'm a little bit of Mark and I'm also a little bit of Mary. So I kind of tried to take both sides of myself and make them into two different people. So a lot of the debates that I had with myself just inside kind of ended up on the screen as two different characters. And then there was a lot of improvisation on the movie. So the cast brought a lot of themselves to it too, which is exactly what I was hoping for. There's so many wonderful and weird, talented people in LA, and I just wanted everyone to bring themselves to material and see what happened.
Awesome. And the I wanted to bring up the soundtrack and the chapter titles, and I thought they were a great way to keep the movie interesting, entertaining, and keep it
Thank
going
you.
forward. Of course.
I'm a
What
huge fan of music and movies and titles and movies, so I love when someone brings it up.
I was that literally my next question. What are some of the inspirations behind this?
So the titles were done by a designer, a French designer named Tom Can, and he is so talented. He did. I discovered him because he did all the Gaspar Noé films. So he did Climax and Into the Void, which have debatably some of the best title sequences in history.
Right.
So I wrote him a fan letter, just not expecting anything, and he actually got back to me and said he would do it, which was really cool because obviously we didn't have a lot of money or anything. And I guess title designers probably don't get as many fan letters as maybe actors do.
Yeah, right.
So I thought it was worth a shot, and I was so grateful that he said yes, and we kind of went with like a retro candy inspired look. And then yeah, for the music, Patrick Stump was our composer from Fall Out Boy, and he's so multi-talented and versatile, and again was super lucky to have him on board.
Wow. All right. And was there anything throughout the film that, or even during the writing process, that you felt like you had to tone down, or did anyone tell you there was some parts of the film that you had to take it back a little bit?
Not really. I mean, I think that's the benefit of making a lower budget project is you can take all these risks and you can make big swings, and sometimes they'll pay off and sometimes they won't, but that's kind of life. And it's fun to take the risks. It's fun to experiment, and it's not a studio movie, so you can kind of just go for it and hope it resonates.
Awesome. And how are you? I guess one of the most important parts of when you're one of the most important hopes that you have while you're shooting a film is to get as much emotion out of, your actors, or make sure that you're getting the point across for the scene. How are you able to do that so well with both Haley and Ben? And did you have any challenges that you had to overcome?
Well, thank you. Well, I have to give them credit for that. I got so lucky with them. They're so terrific, and they were so game to try things and look silly, which can be really, scary and vulnerable as an actor. You don't want to be embarrassed or,
Right.
look stupid. And they were so willing to try things, and they were so trusting, which made all of the difference. And I didn't have any challenges with them. They were so wonderful. It was really more about not necessarily trying to get the most emotion out of them, but the most different emotions, right? So all the different feelings, and trying to find new shades and new nuances in the same feelings instead of just getting the most emotion. So it was a lot of like just trying to find different colors and play around in that wheelhouse.
Awesome. And was there a scene that you wrote that you felt was either your favorite to write, or the one that you felt like that you remember writing the most or shooting maybe?
Yeah, I would say the scene that Joe Latruglio is in as the
Okay.
neighbor.
Yeah.
I wrote that scene with him in mind because I just think he's so funny. I love him. He's just the nicest guy too. So that was a really exciting one to write because even though it's a scene you can completely cut from the movie, it has no impact. I just had my heart set on having Joe in the movie, and that's probably not the way you're typically supposed to work. But I was in it to have a great experience, and that one was very fun to see come to life because it's very rare that you get to write something and you picture it a certain way and then it gets to be the actor that you imagined and go the way you hoped it would.
Awesome. And my last question I have for you is, what is the main message that you want your viewers to get out of watching Mark, Mary, and some other people?
I want people to take that from it that monogamy isn't necessarily the way, and that doesn't mean polyamory is the way or ethical non-monogamy is the way. I want it to be to each their own. And that was why I had two characters with different views on it. So to me, it's just to show that any way you want to go about it is okay. And sometimes it'll work out and sometimes it won't. But mostly I just hope people find it to be fun and authentic and see it as a character study and enjoy themselves watching it. That's really what I want. I want people to have fun.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. And again, congrats on the movie.
Thank you, Antonio. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.